If you have stumbled upon this podcast, it's not by chance. I'm Alex, and I'm so excited for you to join me in each episode as I dive headfirst into the highs, lows, and utterly wild twists of my life. I take you on my journey to feeling fully aligned and unapologetically myself. I'm here to show you that everything in life happens for a reason and nothing is by chance. Let's get into today's episode. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. Wow, this is an exciting day, truly. I have wanted to do this for a really freaking long time. So the fact that I am finally here filming and recording a podcast is just mind-blowing to me. I had this dream years and years and years ago, and here I am finally recording my first podcast ever. It's actually so exciting. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I thought this first episode could be a little bit more of a get to know me and get to know what this podcast is about. I'll share a bit about my evolution in this episode, and I will go into a little bit more detail in other episodes. But for this one, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of who I am, what my story is all about, and why you should stick around. So a lot of the topics of this podcast, it will be all areas of life really, but all centered around evolution, transformation, mindset, a lot of my own personal stories to do with love and loss, and just all about building my dream life, which is what I am so passionate to talk about. So I'm going to be sharing a lot about what I'm building and what my dreams really are. The purpose of this podcast, communication and connection, are just really, really important to me. I feel that I have overcome a lot of adversity and I've broken through a lot of things in my life that I feel a lot of people struggle with and they feel held back by, and myself included. So I have a big, I guess you could say, connection to sharing breakthroughs, and I want to be evidence for other people that the things that hold us back in life really, they won't stop us and we can break through these things. Another reason is some of my favorite podcasts have always been stories, and just listening to someone talk about their life and the things they've gone through and the ups and downs and the transformation and their evolution, how they came to the place they're at, or, you know, all the things that they have had to go through. And I think it's what life is all about. It's the ups and the downs. It's feeling all spectrum of emotions. I feel like when we embrace the ebbs and flows of our emotions and we embrace the different chapters that we go through, life really is so beautiful. You start to fall in love with yourself, you start to fall in love with your life, and that's the journey I've gone on, is very much a journey of learning how to love myself and learning how to appreciate myself exactly as I am. And that has allowed me to step into my most authentic self and to do things that I have always wanted to do, like recording this podcast. So I feel very strongly about sharing my story, sharing the ups and downs, and sharing all of the things I have learned throughout all of those chapters. And yeah, and I guess a part of me as well, I really do love podcasts where there's a flair of drama and a flair of storytelling. I love entertainment, and growing up, I think the first thing that I said I wanted to be growing up was an actress. I really love that element of drama and flair and people telling their stories and telling the crazy things that have happened to them, or the inspiring things. Some of my favorite things in the world are documentaries about people who have overcome just the craziest things in life, and they're still here and they're still happy and they're still just wanting to continue building an incredible life. I just think that is the most inspiring thing ever. No one has your story, and I think that is honestly the most beautiful thing ever. So I'll start with my story, my evolution, and there's a bit of a timeline. I'm going to sort of just brush over things today, but in other episodes, I will deep dive into the areas or the chapters that I feel like have just some really great lessons and some really great insights that I will share. It's so weird when you start to put a timeline to your life and you're dissecting areas, and you start to like really see a pattern, and you start to see that things don't happen by chance. I feel like for me, where things really changed in my life was when I was 25 and my mum passed away. She had been very sick my whole life, chronically ill, and then she passed away from a heart attack. It was very unexpected. It was very traumatic. I guess what happened during that time was it just woke me up to so much going on in my life, who I was, who I wasn't. I feel like I really came to a place where I just started to become conscious of myself and my life and the way I was living. And I didn't love the way I was living. And a lot happened during that time, which again, I'll go into detail at another time. But it really just, I guess, kicked off this journey of transformation in my life. And from there, I really went on a journey of healing. And I started to see a therapist for the first time. Well, she was a kinesiologist and an energy worker. She was so many things. So for lack of a better term, she was a coach, let's call her that. And that was where I really started to learn about myself and childhood wounds and patterns and beliefs and emotions. And it just all from there started to kick off. And I learned so much. I healed so much during that time. And then years later, I feel like the next sort of pivotal point was I was diagnosed with a hormonal condition called PMDD, premenstrual dystrophic disorder, and it's also known as severe PMS. PMDD is no joke, and anyone who has ever experienced it, you will know it is just a horrible, horrible condition to have. I have never felt more insane in my life, is the only way to put it. It was so much so that I was working with doctors and holistic health practitioners as well. And both we were toing and froing with like, do I have bipolar? You know, what is really going on? And eventually we did come to the conclusion that it was something called PMDD. Again, I'm going to go into that in another episode because that's a big one. But from there, again, it was another awakening of, okay, I am now going on and I went on this crazy health journey. That's where I just became so conscious of everything that I was consuming in my life, mind, body, soul. So that journey was just on its own, was crazy. And then September 2023, I was then diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I'm laughing, but it's just like, I'm laughing because it's insane to me when I say that out loud, that I have had cancer, that I have had breast cancer. It is just like something that still blows my mind. I am now on the other side, cancer-free, and I went through a year of treatment and a year of insanity, a year of insight. Oh my gosh, that was on its own. The cancer journey on its own is just crazy, but then throw everything together and I just feel like, essentially why I'm doing this is like, I feel like I've learned so much through all of these things that I've gone through. They've been heavy things, they really have. And I feel like I've just learned so much about the mind, so much about the body. It's made me become so spiritual. It has, which again, that's another episode. Yeah, I just feel like all of these things that have happened in my life, truly, truly do believe they have happened for me. I believe that it hasn't happened by chance. I believe that it was designed perfectly. And I know I'm going to come across as woo-woo, and that's fine because that is part of who I am. I'm part woo-woo. And I very much believe that the universe, life, everything, it's just like perfectly planned out and everything is happening perfectly. And I believe that you can go on that journey consciously, and life throws you lessons and it helps guide you, and you can either lean into that consciously and overcome things. And I feel like I've come to a place is that life really is about coming home to yourself. I really believe that life is about falling in love with yourself and deeply, deeply in love with yourself, figuring out who you are to your core, your most authentic self, and building your life around that, and building a life of passion, building a life of joy, building a life of ease, building a life of peace. I really do believe that for me, that is what life is about. And it's very much where I feel I am at, and I feel like it's where I'm going as well. So to go back to the Cancer chapter, again, that's something I will go into detail about, but it's been another awakening. And I think that's what I'm highlighting today, is a lot of the awakening that has happened. And it's like just shifted me more and more towards myself. And on the other side, like, this is the most powerful I've ever felt. I mean, I don't think I could sit here in front of a camera, in front of a microphone, and record this. This is scary stuff. I'm not going to lie. I'm nervous. I am nervous doing this. The amount of times I have mucked this up and reworded and resaid things, I'm not going to lie to you. It feels intense at times, but in a good way. It just makes me feel very excited for life. I'm so incredibly excited to share with the world, the past, the present, the future, you know? I think it makes up a person. I feel like my greatest asset is my mind. And it's like my inner world is truly something I am so proud of. I've worked very hard on it. I have worked through so many different things. I feel like I've healed so many different wounds and just understood myself so much better. And I just feel like I am not working against myself. I'm not self-sabotaging all the time. I'm not constantly struggling. I feel like my life has become so much easier. And it really has been because of all of these chapters that have happened in my life that have helped me to learn so much and to build what I call my life toolkit. And I feel like that toolkit is stocked, really, really stocked. And I feel very proud of that. And I think that's what I'm most passionate about, is helping other people to build their life toolkit and overcome things that hold them back. Honestly, one of my favorite conversations to have is with other people around what's their dreams, what are they going after, and what do they like, why aren't they going after them, or if they are, what are they doing? And that leads me to my next point. I'm going to be having so many incredible guests on this podcast. I am so blessed with the people I have in my life, truly, like so many incredible people I have attracted into my orbit and my world, and so many of them have agreed to come onto this podcast. And I'm so excited to share their stories of evolution. They're building their life, their dreams. And that, like, their dreams are going to be different to mine. My dreams are going to be different to others. What do you envision in your life as your, like, big, beautiful, exciting, insanely enriched vision? What is that in your mind, and how do we get you there? So yeah, anyway, I digress. And I'm just going to preface this by saying I don't know how to tell a long story short. Every single person in my life has heard me say long story short, and it's never a long story short. It's always a long story. But I will say I digress a lot. There's some quirks, and you will get to know me over time. And to be honest, that's what I'm most excited about. Whoever is listening to this, thank you so much for being here. Throughout the cancer, I started to share more online. That's where my content creation journey happened. But the amount of connection and messages and, like, honestly, my inbox was just always full of conversations about life. And I was just like, I just want to do this forever. Like, this is what I'm so passionate about, talking to people about their life and things in life. So I guess you could say that's a massive reason why I'm doing this, is because you listening right now, whoever you are, I want to know about you. I want to know about your life. I want you to know about my life. I want you to be in my world. I want to be in your world. And if you are listening to this, I mean, you are probably someone who is about growth as well. You're about evolution, transformation. You're probably wanting to build your dream life as well. And yeah, I guess that's what I'm very much being intentional about attracting those kind of people into my life. Okay, I guess I'm going to wrap this up. And I think I'm going to touch on my vision a little bit. And I'm not going to go into detail today about exactly what I'm building or what I'm going towards, but I will say it is more freedom, it is more ease, it is more joy, more authenticity. Like, I am literally just building a life based on passion and love and just learning who I am and going after that. I never, ever, ever want to get to the end of this life and feel like I didn't do something because I was afraid. And that truly is what the cancer showed me, is like, you have one life. You have one life and we're going to die one day. And I want to think about my life and be like, wow, like I did everything that I wanted to do, and not in like a way where it's like constantly chasing, constantly going after, and never feeling peace now. In my day-to-day life, I feel so much gratitude. And this was even before the cancer. The cancer just brought it up a notch. But before the cancer, I prided myself on working on my mind to find more peace in my day-to-day. All of these things I'm going after, the money, the out of world, the things, right? I've always said this, that is just the cherry on top. It's so much more than just what we're building and going after and chasing. It's about what you feel in your day-to-day life. And I am very proud to say that I feel a lot of peace, joy, and happiness in my day-to-day life. Not every day, I'm a human being and shit happens. And believe me, plenty of shit happens. But I guess you could say I just feel like I have learnt how to navigate it all beautifully. And that hasn't happened by chance. I feel like that has happened over a decade or longer. I mean, even before my mum passing away, I was somebody so focused on growth. And I will get into why that is. There's a core reason around that, and it is very much to do with the way that I was brought up and my parents. But I just refuse to settle in life for not feeling incredible in my day-to-day as much as I possibly can. Where I'm going is just more. It's just more of what I've got right now, more freedom, more ease, more love, more passion, and more excitement. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope that you get so much out of me telling my story. Truly, I really do hope it brings a lot to your own life. And I will see you on the next episode of Not By Chance. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved this episode, please share it with a loved one, and I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review and a comment. It really helps to support my podcast and get my message out there. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Alex Mansted. And one of my favorite things to do is have chats with people about life. Nothing is too big or too much, so please feel free to message me. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, dream big, love deeply, and live boldly.